At the highest levels of the atmosphere, nature's forces are silently accumulating immense energy. This is not a place for the fragile. This is a realm where air currents conflict, where pressure shifts violently, and silence is merely a prelude to the wrath about to descend. While the world below operates under the harsh laws of survival on land and sea, up here, a different order is being established. When the dark cumulonimbus clouds begin to roil, obscuring the sun and turning day into night, we know that the deity of thunder is beginning its journey. Listen to the hiss of ionized air. Feel the shift in the magnetic field. Zapdos, the legendary entity representing lightning, is awakening. Unlike any other creature in the ecosystem, Zapdos is not merely a flying animal. In the natural world, Zapdos acts as a living lightning rod. While other species seek shelter when the storm approaches, Zapdos dives straight into the heart of the chaos. Its body is designed to absorb ionized particles suspended in the air, converting nature's destructive power into a source of energy to recharge its own body. Look deep into its biological structure. Those brilliant yellow feathers are not lifeless keratin like those of ordinary birds. Each feather is a biological capacitor, a masterpiece of millions of years of evolution. They are capable of storing millions of volts in a single flash. When Zapdos spreads its wings, it is not just flying. It is creating an electromagnetic field that blankets the sky. It moves like an electric pulse through the atmosphere, dominating the night sky with brutal flickering light and the sound of air being torn apart. To understand the true status of Zapdos, we must place it within the grand panorama of the global ecosystem, where the strongest vie for power. Look down to the earth, where the heart of the bramble forest hides brutal battles for survival. There, Scizor schools engage in training rituals, honing their predatory instincts to a razor's edge to protect their territory. When faced with survival pressure, Scizor may evolve into Scizor, donning a dense, impenetrable steel alloy exoskeleton to become a war machine. However, even the thick metal hide of a Scizor, or the superior intelligence of a Metagross, a supercomputer with 4 brains that rules the snow mountains, becomes a liability before the power of Zapdos. Why? Because in physics, metal is the perfect conductor. To Zapdos, the ironclad warriors of the Earth are not threats, they are conductive targets. Zapdos' power lies in the fact that it does not need physical contact. It strikes from above, delivering lightning bolts, carrying the raw force of nature, turning the opponent's defensive advantage into a fatal weakness. While creatures of the Earth represent the pinnacle of physical evolution, Zapdos represents primal, uncontrollable power. Look further toward the ocean, where Gyarados, the beast evolved from Fury, dominates the deep zones. Gyarados represents the ocean's aggressive nature, capable of shattering defenses with pure physical impact. But water, the very medium that gives it life, is its undoing when facing thunder. A single electric discharge from Zapdos, upon touching the surface, travels for miles, turning a vast stretch of ocean into a lethal electromagnetic trap. No matter how ferocious the Gyarados, or how resilient the melodic, the living masterpiece of the deep, they all must bow before the authority of the Sky Ruler. Even when compared to the rulers of the land like Tyranitar, the Godzilla of the desert, a mountain-shaping force that endured the crushing weight of tectonic pressure to evolve from Larvitar, we see a difference in environmental class. Tyranitar is the master of the earth, capable of resculpting the landscape with a single stride. But it is bound by gravity. Zapdos is not. Zapdos is free. It glides on magnetic currents of its own making, forever out of reach of those shackled to the ground. However, Zapdos does not exist as a solitary destroyer. It is an integral piece of the planet's climate control mechanism, alongside two other legendary entities, Articuno and Moltres. This is the trinity that maintains the balance of the world. In the frozen lands, Articuno, the incarnation of eternal winter, controls atmospheric humidity through crystal-like feathers. It creates a protective structure from the harshness of winter, freezing everything into a state of stasis. Conversely, where the molten heat of the Earth's core rises, Moltres, the fire deity, brings the warmth necessary for germination. Moltres is the biological catalyst for rebirth, using fire not to burn, but to light the path for new life after the cold. And Zapdos stands in the center, acting as the violent energy bridge between these two extremes. Lightning is the spark, the flow of energy circulating between the cold of ice and the heat of fire. At the intersection of three worlds, when these three deities converge, a magnificent event occurs. All climatic conflicts are neutralized by energy resonance. This is the dance of the elements, keeping this planet from falling into ruin due to extreme weather. Zapdos uses thunder to shatter the stagnation of ice or to temper the fury of fire, ensuring the grand cycle of life continues in peace. But when there is no convergence, when Zapdos returns to its wildest self, it is the terror of the night sky. There is a certain solitude that comes with this ultimate power. Unlike the small Eevee, which can evolve into various forms through social interaction or environmental adaptation, or the Cubone that must endure the trauma of loss to become a tough Marowak, Zapdos has no growth process. It is eternal. It exists as a constant of the universe. It does not need a pack for protection like the Squirtle. It does not need to hide in the shadows like Greninja to hunt. Its presence is public and overwhelming. When it flies over the land, the sound of its wings creates cracking noises like rolling thunder, signaling to all living things who the true master of the sky is. The small creatures below can only seek shelter, shivering as static pressure makes their fur stand on end. Often, Zapdos chooses to reside near human ruins. Why these places? Because these abandoned power plants, though decaying, still hold traces of energy. Zapdos acts as a living lightning rod within these ruins, absorbing the residual energy and reminding us that human technology is insignificant compared to the power of nature. In the cosmic order, Zapdos' role can also be compared to Rayquaza in the ozone layer. If Rayquaza is the sky's supreme guardian, protecting the world from cosmic threats and halting the ancient conflict between Groudon and Kyogre, then Zapdos is the manager of the troposphere, where the weather that directly affects daily life occurs. Zapdos ensures that atmospheric energy does not stagnate. The storms it creates or controls play a vital role in distributing heat and rain globally. Its lightning helps fix nitrogen in the air, bringing precious nutrients to the soil, helping the ancient forests guarded by Celebi or Meganium to thrive. Thus, though it wears the guise of destruction, Zapdos is actually a catalyst for life. In the planet's history, we also see other creatures wielding electromagnetic power, such as Raikou, one of the legendary beasts reborn from the Brass Tower. But the difference lies in their domain. Raikou is the lightning of the earth, racing across continents with a roar that echoes like thunder, protecting the creatures of the forest. Zapdos is the lightning of the heavens, untethered and unpredictable. When Raikou roars, the ground shakes. When Zapdos shrieks, the sky shatters. Both share the essence of the lightning bolt. Fast, powerful, and elusive, but Zapdos represents the wilder, more uncontrollable aspect of this element from above. As dawn breaks, the storm fades. The black clouds give way to sunlight. Zapdos flaps its wings and vanishes toward the horizon, leaving behind a brilliant yellow trail and air thick with the scent of ozone. Its mission in this land is complete, but somewhere on this vast planet, where currents of hot and cold air begin to clash again, those wings will spread once more. The story of Zapdos is a story of primal power. It reminds us that humans and other Pokémon, no matter how much they evolve, no matter how strong their steel armor or how advanced their intellect, are always small before the forces of nature. The ruins where Zapdos rests are the clearest proof. Human constructs may crumble, but the energy of nature is eternal. We, the creatures of the earth, can only look up with awe. For as long as Zapdos flies, as long as lightning tears through the night, the balance of the world is being protected from above. A new cycle begins in peace, under the watch of the wings of thunder. That is the majesty, the terror, and the absolute beauty of Zapdos, the god of the storm.